The Director of National Intelligence will soon deliver an unclassified report to Congress about what our government knows about UFOs. Public imagination about mysterious flying objects has been mostly shaped by Hollywood artists who've wondered what would happen if and when we ever make contact. NBC News reporter Daniel Arkin joins us now with more on all this. Daniel, I know you spoke with a number of Hollywood Hollywood filmmakers who do films about aliens about this upcoming movement. What did they tell you?
Hi, Aaron. Thank you for having me. One of the people I was most excited to speak with is Chris Carter. Carter is the creator of the television show The X-Files. And I asked him, how does it feel to see the subject of UFOs move from the cultural fringes somewhat closer to the cultural mainstream? And he told me that for him, someone who's been fascinated by this topic for decades since he was a teenager, it was delightful to see UFOs finally make front-page headline news in 2021. I also spoke with Barry Sonnenfeld. Barry Sonnenfeld is the director of the very popular Men in Black film trilogy, happens to be a very colorful guy. And he told me that if aliens are indeed out there, he is frankly terrified. He imagines that they aren't particularly friendly and that human beings don't deserve to be treated particularly nicely. I was also excited to chat with Aaron Ryder. He's the producer of the Amy Adams drama Arrival, and he told me that when they were shooting that film in 2015 in Canada, he was really gripped by this feeling that it was only a matter of time and in some ways inevitable that the American public would learn more about the possible existence of UFOs. If anything, he told me he's surprised that it's taken this long for an unclassified report of this scale to reach the U.S. Senate.
Wow, yeah, I've seen all those films you just referenced, and if any of that stuff becomes reality, it's a scary, scary thing. One other thing that I thought was really interesting, you spoke to a professor who says that media depictions about UFOs and aliens have potentially negatively impacted what is a serious field of study. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I spoke with Diana Pasulka. She is an academic and an author of a book about the role that UFOs have played in the national psyche. And her perspective is basically this: Hollywood treatment of UFO encounters is kind of a double-edged sword. On the one hand, some of the great science fiction films and television shows have inspired people for decades, inspired people to pursue interesting careers in the sciences and the arts, and in some cases even in public service. But on the other hand, and this was the really crucial point you're asking about, she believes that some of the more sensationalized and fantastical depictions of UFO encounters in movies and shows have often stood in the way of this topic being taken with the seriousness that it might deserve. And her example is, you mentioned UFOs in casual conversation. A lot of folks might think of the creepy aliens from the Tim Burton movie Mars Attacks. Yeah. They may not fully appreciate that these UFO encounters might in fact deserve seriousness in the scientific and academic communities, and potentially even in our national security establishment.
Well, I know the conversation continues on this. Maybe we'll have you back to tell us what comes out of the next shoe to drop on this topic. Daniel Arkin, we appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks very much. Glad to be with you.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.